Carol mentioned earlier that Raymond had invented all these titles. So I was pretty surprised when I saw the title that Carol just referred to. So I said, well, I had to make an extra slide just for that. That's how he sees me. The name is correct, Tony Allwright, and I'm an engineer. And then he says, highly opinionated individual, which carries all kinds of messages. And that's because I wrote a blog for many years. And highly opinionated means I wrote columns for the Irish Times until they fired me for being too highly opinionated. I think I was unflattering to Barack Obama or something. And then he's got, his title is We'll All Be Okay. You see, all right, all okay. I never heard that joke before. Anyway, that's Raymond's vision. So we'll go on to my talk now, what Tony is thinking. Okay, bring it on. That's the theme for today. It's kind of nice. And what I'm going to talk about is, I call it negotiation dynamics. And this is kind of largely based on things that I observed and learned when for quite a number of years I worked for Shell in the North Sea, and my job was negotiating all the contracts with drilling rigs and drilling services and so forth. So they were kind of very big contracts over a long period of time, and I learned quite a lot of stuff which helped me for many, many years, well, to the present really. Okay, so the subtitle, this is, by the way, the title I gave Raymond, that he said anyway. The subtitle is, You Don't Know Your Enemy from Your Friend. So we'll just talk about that a little bit. So in this negotiator, I want you to imagine that we are in a negotiation. Maybe we've between a contractor and a client, and maybe there's been a tender, and the contract is close to being awarded. Now we need to negotiate the details, which is usually a whole world of pain when you see the details. Or it's a completely negotiated contract from start to finish. The principles are the same. So what I want you to imagine is a little negotiation. This is Tony, and this is Carol. Not a very good representation. So I'm the contractor, and she's the client. She's the one with the money. And we are arguing over this contract. She cannot believe how unreasonable I am, the amount of money I expect for the trifling bit of work I'm prepared to do. I think she is totally tight. She has no idea what my costs are, and she's being utterly unreasonable. And she's going back to her board, say, this guy, Tony, is awful. We're arguing about this, he doesn't want to pay, he wants us to pay for doing nothing, and so I'm going back and said, not only this she-wolf there that I have to deal with, but, she expects me to pick up all the liabilities for third parties, not only for my own mistakes, but for hers as well. I'm supposed to pay for her mistakes. And she's going back to her board. I can't stand this guy, and he all the extras he's throwing in all the time, totally unreasonable. So you're going back to your friendly board, and your board is saying, yeah, Carol, we're with you, right? We're supporting you. I see your point of view. Rather you're doing it than we have to face this awful fellow. And I'm going back to my board. I'm saying pretty much the same thing. That I'm really struggling here. I need to do the best I can. I'm not sure what's going on. There's Tony, we're with you all the way, Carol. They're my friends. But are we friends? Well, actually we're not. This negotiation, we're enemies. I'm not happy with Carol's performance, and she's certainly not happy with mine. So this goes on. It can go on maybe a period of days. Might only be hours, mostly days, sometimes a couple of weeks. Depends how complex the negotiations are. But eventually, we battle through it, and Carol gives a bit, and I give a bit, and we find some workarounds and stuff like this, and we go through page by page until finally we get to, page 200. And whoa! We've suddenly reached agreement. Everything has changed. There we are. We've made a deal. Look how happy Carol is. She's so happy. She's even changed her hair colour and her hairstyle. That's how happy she is. I'm pretty happy as well, saying that. But no longer enemies. Oh, no, we're best of friends. She is my best friend that ever was best before. And she thinks I'm pretty great too. Made our deal, we're very happy. But it's not over. It's not over, because there's something else in store. She has a new problem. No problem. She has to go back to her board. And she's got to say exactly the opposite of what she's been telling them for the last 2 weeks. Saying what a thoroughly reasonable guy I am, what a great deal I'm doing, and a really competitive price. And they're saying, That's the same guy you've been giving out about all this time. What are you talking about? She has a real hard negotiation. Her board, that were her friends, are now her enemy. She has to convince them to go along with this contract that they think she's totally sold the shop. And I've got exactly the same on my side. All my organisation, no, they don't like what I've done one little bit. I have the same thing. I must try and turn them around and tell them why we had to make these concessions, but we got other things, blah, 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 and all that. So, of course, this is exhausting. But we eventually reach Nevada. Suddenly, we convince our respective boards, and everyone is now happy. Contractor and client. We're not just happy, but we are one big, happy, unified team. And we're all friends. All these enemies, no more enemies. Well, not quite. We are all friends. We are all friends. We've negotiated a contract. We're moving into implementation. We're all friends with one common enemy. Who's the enemy? Any idea who the common enemy we just managed to inherit for ourselves? Mother Nature. We're told nature is wonderful. Oh no, she's not. She is our enemy. This is Gaia, the one that we're all supposed to be protecting. No, she is the enemy. She will do everything in her power to sabotage everything we do on every project. And she has an arsenal of weapons she's going to use. Weights, height, pressure, tension, fire, poison, disease, human frailty, all these things. These are the weapons that she will do to try to stop us achieving our objective. Because when you enter in a project, whatever it is, you are fighting nature. You are trying to do what nature doesn't want. And this is what's going to be happening. She's going to be trying to wreck your every building. You're trying to build something up. With her gravity, she'll try and pull it down again. She'll try and get everything overgrown, every car crashing, spreading illness, disease, wrecking the software. That's what nature does if you don't get on top of it. And we as our unified team, we have to, you've got overcooking every meal. Lure us into mistakes. This should probably be top of the list. We are fighting nature all the way. But we are a unified team, we're all friends, and together we are going to defeat. We're friends today, but we were enemies. We're going to defeat our common enemy, and we're going to deliver our project. And we're going to deliver it on time and on budget. Or if we're Donald Trump, of course, we'll deliver it ahead of time and under budget. Okay, so I just really want to finish up. It's a short talk. Bring it on. That's the theme of today. So I say, yeah, bring it on. It's very important when we get into negotiations, particularly complex ones, that we really understand what's going on and don't let ourselves get too caught up in the passions of the moment. Now, the passions of the moment are important to deliver objectives, but don't let them seduce or mix up our minds. Don't let Mother Nature get the better of us. So, what did I say? Know who your enemies are during the negotiation. Know who your friends are. But above all, know when they switch sides. They're always switching sides. Your enemy today is your friend tomorrow. Your friend today is your enemy tomorrow. And just, I think you need to keep that in our minds when we go into these negotiations, whether they're major negotiations or indeed small ones. So that's really what I had to share with you. I'm probably under budget time-wise, am I?
Which is excellent.
I must catch up a little bit. So thank you very much. If you've got and I'm sorry for all the insults I heap upon you, Carol.
Quite all right, I am happy.
No, I forgot to shake hands that
friends
we made the deal.
And I do change my hair when I'm happy. Thank you, Tony. And what really strikes me, as always does when Raymond pulls these agendas together, is here you have what appear to be very disparate issues.
Yeah.
And actually we've started with we need a vision. And I heard a vision about where it's not okay for families who put out of their homes. And actually part of the issue there is negotiation, and here we have some insights into how do we approach negotiation differently and how do we understand those dynamics. So I think it all weaves together beautifully. And since you are under budget, I'm going to say thank you very much and move on, only because I know we were very late starting and we can catch up a few minutes.